Hey, hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you guys a first-person replay commentary. Going to be doing a Morphling game today. This is a game from, God, probably more than a week ago. I actually have a giant list of heroes, of games that I've already played that I haven't made replay commentaries for. So I think I'm going to start doing like 2 recordings a day and uploading like 2 videos a day until I get through these logs. I still want to do like replay commentaries and some games from the stream and a Purgecast Sub Pub, which I haven't done forever, maybe something else new that I've been lazy about. But I have 9 heroes on this list. Morph, PL, Kunkka, Dazzle, Legion, Bloodseeker, Nightstalker, Beastmaster, and Drow Ranger. That's my heroes. I have them on the list. I already have those games played. All I need to do is commentate them, upload them. So hopefully get those out to you guys soon. We can start off with the old Dota buff, of course. Boom! Alright, Morphling as a hero is a hard carry. Wow, his win rate's 42%. I guess that's not too surprising because the hero is definitely a little hard to play. He's actually one of the least popular heroes in the game, surprisingly. This honestly really surprised me. I thought that the hero would be more popular than this, but the hero, yeah, really, really low win rate. In terms of the pro scene, he's actually a pretty darn good hero. So, maybe not like top tier, but situationally, there's been periods of time where he was the most overpowered hero in the game. Basically, I forgot all about this hybrid. When you get an eggs on him, you become a hybrid replication of a target allied hero and can cast all the hero's non-ultimate abilities. Morphling will reappear at the location of the hybrid if it dies, or when its duration ends. Do you get their stats? Do you get your stats? I don't even know. Maybe it'd be worth it to go Strength Morph and pick up an Ags at some point. If I doubt you get their items and stuff, but I might be wrong. I feel like that would be way too strong otherwise. Because if you played like offlane Morphling, you could go just grab an eggs and then duplicate your carry or something. But I feel like that isn't fair. So, anyways, I don't go that build this game. I went full hard carry. I don't know why these win rates are so high for the lane presence because his overall win rate's really low. Maybe that's because people are playing him like a support. But basically, what you build on this guy is you buy a lot of stat items first and foremost, but the skill build you go usually maxes waveform first. If you go the stun adaptive strike build, that was the last video I made of it, I think it was like November. If you go that build, then usually you max adaptive strike by 7. But otherwise you're maxing waveform by 7 because that's your farming tool and your damage. And you're also getting a lot of your morph ability, which is your 3rd skill. Now this doesn't just shift your stats, it also gives you basic stat points. So if the first level you get 3 agility and 3 strength, and at the second level, it basically goes from 3 to 6. So by getting 4 skill points in here, you're not only giving yourself the ability, you're also giving yourself 6 agility and 6 strength, which is not bad. And it shifts at a rate that changes basically as you level up. So mostly it's a shift that changes. The first to the second point is really important because it doubles the speed for it, but every point after there is a little bit less efficient as it goes on. But either way, this is really important. So the way Morphling functions is here, and I'll explain this now so that I don't get distracted in game, is that with your 3rd ability, as a carry at least, I'll explain how it works, is you're changing your strength points into your agility points. And the reason this becomes really, really strong is because you're turning items that normally give you really average stats, like Skadi, Manta style, and Linkens, into something that gives you pretty darn decent damage. I mean, think about all these items that you're building. Linkens gives 15 to all attributes. Manta style gives 26 agility with 10 strength. It's a moderate damage item. Skadi, the perfect example of a moderate damage item, gives you 25 agility, which gives you 25 damage and 25 attack speed. It gives you 25 strength. But what do you get? You get more value out of stats if they're your primary attribute, right? So by grabbing a Skadi and then taking that 25 strength and shifting it to agility, it now becomes a 50 agility, 25 int, 250 health, 250 mana item with a slow. That starts to become a lot better because when you're getting 50 agility, that's 50 damage and 50 attack speed. Not to mention the ridiculous amount of armor that is. That's actually so much armor. It's like 8 armor or something like that. I'm going to use a calculator because I want to really make sure that I'm doing it right here. Okay, this calculator will do 50 armor divided, or 50 agility divided by 7. That's 7.14 armor. So with the Skadi, you're giving yourself 7 armor. You're increasing your HP by 250 because that's what the Skadi gives. You're also giving yourself a lot of mana, and of course the slow and the damage and all that good stuff. So that's basically where the value from morph comes. Now, if you can't actually morph item stats into a different one, so for example, if you have 1 strength and you pick up a Skadi, you can't morph that 25 Skadi strength into agility. All you can do is say, oh, let's say I have 26 strength on my hero, and I pick up an Eye of Skadi. I can then shift that 25 strength that I already had naturally from my hero over to agility. So it's not like you can always be at 500 HP or 100 HP or whatever. You can only be as low as 1 strength base plus whatever you have for items. So at some point in the game, you can't actually lower your HP more, but that's okay because in the late game, you generally want a little bit of HP in case you get bursted. So the items you're buying as a carry Morphling are basically mixes of stat items that give you a bit of everything, and that basically comes down to things like Manta style, Eye of Skadi, Power Treads is good, Linkens Sphere is really good, Ring of Aqua in the early game is very strong, and as the game continues, you'll buy things like Eblade or Eye of Skadi, like I said. Occasionally you'll buy something like a BKB, and what you end up turning into is kind of like a burst damage monster. First of all, you attack very fast, your illusions are amazing because remember, illusion damage is based on your primary attribute, and if you have all of this extra stats shifted to that one attribute, then your illusions become extremely strong. So Manta style is almost always a really good item to have on Morphling. And then when your agility is really high, adaptive strike functions as a nuke and not as a damage. So at damage, max agi multiplier is 2, and it does a base damage of 80. So let's say, let's keep that in mind for later in the game. I'm gonna take a rough guess. Let's say we're late game and let's say we have 200 agility or something like that, right? I'll open up the calculator again. So let's say late game we've shifted all our stats. We have something like 200 agility, which is probably attainable. 200 agility times 2 gives you 400, and then plus 80. That gives you 480. So every single time we cast Adaptive Strike, it does almost as much as a Finger of Death, which is pretty amazing because it's a 10-second cooldown. It also mini stuns for 0.25, I believe. Yes, 0.25 mini stun. So that's pretty amazing. And you also can buff it up very nicely using something like an Ethereal Blade. I'm pretty sure we do get higher than 200, but we'll just remember the equation. It's just 2 times your agility and then add on 80 at the end, and that's how much damage it does. So at the end of the game, Adaptive Strike ends up being really strong, and then you can combo with something like Ethereal Blade. Ethereal Blade does damage to the target. Oh man, we're going to need the calculator again. I keep closing it. I should just leave it up. The way that Ethereal Blade works is it's very similar to Adaptive Strike. It does damage based on your primary stat attribute. So it does increase magic damage by 40%. We knew that. Oh, that's why, because my web browser is a little bit too low. So it does 2 times your primary attribute plus 75 as magical damage. It's actually exactly the same as Adaptive Strike, just a much longer cooldown at 30 seconds, and it costs 150 mana versus 100. So almost exactly the same. So basically, Ethereal Blade is an extra Adaptive Strike, but the important part is that if Ethereal Blade hits first, then Adaptive Strike does bonus magic damage because of the minus 40% magic. Well, it says increased magic damage. I don't know if that means lowered resistance or not, but ethereal units will take 40% bonus magic damage. I don't know. I don't know what that means. But it lasts for a duration of 4 seconds on allies or self, and 3 seconds on opponents. Also slows them by 40%, which is pretty good. Or 80. Excuse me. Slows them by 80%, which is pretty good. So when you're buffing that up, then that 500 nuke that Adaptive Strike does even more. And in the late game situations, you can usually start one-shotting supports with Ethereal Blade and Adaptive Strike. This used to be the go-to build, but then they nerfed Ethereal Blade a couple times, mostly because it was overpowered on heroes like Tinker, because you could E-Blade into a Dagon 5, and it would just hit them instantly, and they would just die instantly, and that was really frustrating to play against. Because even if somebody had a Blink Dagger, even top-tier pro players wouldn't be able to react in time in most cases. So that was very frustrating. So it got nerfed. It has a projectile speed now, as does Adaptive Strike, both of which used to be instant cast time. So Morphling is basically nerfed. The one really good strength he had with being able to one-shot supports is now gone. So the only reason I talked about that a shitload is because it's something to keep in mind about how you play Morphling. You still can go that build, but it's counterable now. People can press their BKBs before they get hit by the E-Blade or the Adaptive Strike. They can blink away. There's solutions, basically. Before, it would just kind of hit you and you got screwed if you didn't have vision over them, kind of a thing. So let's see. Heroes he's good against. Phoenix. Phoenix has limited damage, basically. It's all magic, so it's very static. It doesn't really increase as the game continues. And Morphling can very easily escape by waveforming away. So he has an escape versus Phoenix. Why is it good versus Omni Knight? Not completely sure. Probably because you can escape. You can build a Diffusal Blade. It's not a great morph item, but it can be built. You could also argue... what's another? God, these win rates are so disgustingly bad. 33% win rate against Omni. That is ridiculous. I don't know, burst damage, kill somebody before Omni Knight can heal them. If he uses his ultimate, it doesn't matter, Morph can do magic damage through it. Maybe that's why. Spirit Breaker, static damage. Morphling can escape by using his ultimate relocate or by waveforming. You can also increase your HP statically, which means that it counters static-based nukes such as Spirit Breaker. Why is it good against Spectre? Because you can make a relocate of Spectre. Let me go over the rest of his abilities. I covered Waveform is just a nuke. It moves you. Well, it does damage as you pass through people. Adaptive Strike does damage, mini stun. It can stun high duration if your strength is higher. Morph just shifts your strength into agility or your agility into strength. And before I continue, I'll just finish explaining how this works. So the way that this works is, let's say, I don't know exactly how it works. I might be slightly wrong here, but let's say you're at full HP. If you're morphing into strength, you're not losing any HP because you're shifting your stats straight. Your base percentage as you start morphing is 100%. That means as you're shifting to more agility to strength, it stays that way. But if you're missing half HP and you're morphing to strength, your HP percentage stays the same. So every 0.2 seconds, you're shifting to strength or to agility to 2 strength, which increases your HP by 38. If you're at half HP, I believe you only get half of that, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong on this, but basically if you're missing a lot of HP and you're morphing to agility, you'll lose. I guess it doesn't work that way. It's a straight shift, basically. So basically, if let's say you're at 1% HP and you start morphing your extra agility to strength, I think every 0.2 seconds you gain 38 HP. I believe that's how it works. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It might be a percentage of that, but it might also be just 38. So basically, if you're about to die, you start morphing to strength, and you're gaining 38 HP every 0.2 seconds. So over the course of 1 whole second or 5 ticks of this, you will have gained 5 times that, which is like about 200 HP. It's a little bit less than that, like 190 HP, of course, because you're gaining 10 strength per second, basically. So every second you're gaining 190 HP, which basically means if you ever get into a dangerous situation, you begin morphing to strength and you gain 190 HP. Now the downside is that it limits your damage output, it reduces your armor. So if you're against physical heroes, this isn't very good. But if you're against spellcasters, this doesn't matter because your low armor doesn't actually make you easier to kill. So as you're morphing, if you're in a bad situation, morph to strength, you will get reduced damage and you will get reduced armor. Now the important part is that it costs mana to do this, and kind of a lot, 30 mana per second. So over the course of 5 seconds, you're losing 150 mana. That's pretty big. And in a long engagement like 10 seconds, you're losing 300 mana. That could be half of your mana pool. That might limit you from being able to use waveform or being able to use relocate. So you have to be a bit careful. The other important thing is that if you over strength morph, what you basically want to do is morphling is you want to morph just enough so that you don't die. Because if you do it perfectly, then you don't waste mana, and your agility and your attack damage is still really high. Sometimes during this replay, I will forget that I was strength morphing, and by the end of it, I'm like, wow, I'm attacking really slow. Oh shit, I've been morphing for 20 seconds, and now I hit for 50 damage. And then, to go back to damage, you have to morph the other way, which counteracts your mana gain. Does that make sense as well? So not only is it your damage is being limited, but you're also overspending mana, and you're also limiting your damage output. So you only have to morph, you want to morph just enough, basically, to compensate for how much damage your opponents are doing. And to know exactly how much damage your opponents are doing is really important when you're thinking about morph. So that's basically how it works. That should make sense to you. If you buy static stat items, you morph the strength components that you just gained by picking up a Wraith Band. Wow, that's 3 more strength that I can now morph to agility while still retaining the same HP. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So that's how morph works. The way replicate works is you replicate a hero, a friend, or a foe, and the illusions do 50% of the original hero's outgoing damage, but they take 100%, which means they take 100%, meaning same damage as you take of any incoming damage. At any point, you can cast 150 mana to teleport to where your replicate is, and if you die, the replicate also expires. So the reason this is very good against a hero like Spectre is because Spectre has a lot of passives that function with illusions, which is Desolate, her second skill. That means that Spectre, when she hits somebody that's by themselves, they take a bonus 60 pure damage, and illusions get that bonus. So if you make a replicate of a Spectre, and then Illusion hits the Spectre, and Spectre's by herself, she'll take extra damage, much more than the Illusion would normally. And the other thing that's extra good is a lot of Spectres buy Radiance, and if you make an Illusion of a Radiance hero, then bam, you got your own Radiance kicking around too. So, and since the Illusion doesn't take that much damage, it takes 100% or regular damage, then you're very likely to have your free Radiance in the fight. That's like 5,000 gold for free, and it lasts up to 60 seconds at level 3. And that's amazing. So if you can replicate a hero like Spectre, that's why Morphling has a slightly higher win rate against Spectre, basically. So that's pretty cool. Normally you use this ability to move around the map to farm faster. It's kind of similar to Spec's ult in a way. You can be off farming the map while you have an illusion with your team as your team looks for a team fight. And as soon as the fight starts, bam, you teleport there and you start the fight. That way, if the fight doesn't happen, you won't be wasting your time, basically. And the same thing goes, you could farm for an extra 15-20 seconds. That might be 300 gold. That'll increase your overall GP. So that's how Replicate works. Stats are basically gotten late game. I don't agree with this build. It's slightly wrong. Usually you go 4 waveform with 4 adaptive or 4 morph, and then you max out adaptive strike. So this early Replicate point is a bit of a waste, I feel, unless you're against a hero like Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage is another hero that's good for replicating, because then you can have the passive mana burn, and you can mana burn the Anti-Mage. In the early game, Morphling is good against Anti-Mage. In the late game, Anti-Mage is much better, because Morphling has a huge mana pool, which means Mana Void will do a lot. So that's pretty much everything I need to say about Morphling, I think, for the early parts. Now I can just talk about in-game decision making when we get to the replay. But other heroes, he's good against Bounty Hunter. I guess you can escape Bounty Hunter, not to mention morphing your HP if you get into trouble. Phantom Assassin. I'm a little surprised about this one, but I guess it's probably because if Phantom Assassin's BKB is down, Morphling can burst her down very, very easily. If I'm dealing with a PA, what I'll probably do is I'll get an Ethereal Blade, and I'll get a lot of levels in Adaptive Strike by the late game, and as soon as her BKB runs out, I'm going to nuke her. I'm going to hit her with Ethereal Blade, and I'm going to hit her with Adaptive Strike, and that's going to do 1,000 damage. And I can basically, and in some ways, guarantee that I stay alive until that point, because if she initiates with the BKB, I can waveform away, or I can morph HP to try to stay alive until she ends up going on me. In which case, I will adaptive, Eblade adaptive her, and she will hopefully die. It's called the shotgun, basically. I will shotgun her. I'll just say that in the future. Good against Clockwork, because you can very easily waveform out of Battery Assault, as well as morph, and good against Warlock. I guess you can get out of Upheaval very easily. You can also cancel his Upheaval with your Adaptive Strike, and you can also escape the Golem if needed. Alright, heroes he's bad against. Nature's Prophet. This is the biggest percentage I have ever seen in all of Dota buff history when I've been looking at matches. 6.8% advantage versus Nature's Prophet. And why would this be? I think the first reason it may exist is because Nature's Prophet is global, so he can get around very fast. So he can kind of catch a Morphling no matter where he is. Number 2 is that Nature's Prophets buy Orchid very often. If we just side tangent very little here, we can check to see what items are built. Orchid is built pretty often here. Not the most popular Prophet item, but definitely way up there. And yeah, because of that, Orchid is very good against Morphling. Silence is very good against Morphling because it prevents you from waveforming, it prevents you from ulting, and if you cast the Silence before they start morphing, it'll prevent you from morphing as well. So Silence is very, very, very good against Morphling. Nature's Prophet can also split push. Morphling can kind of deal with that, and then late game, I don't know, it's a little weird. I'm surprised it's 6.7%. That's massive, really, really big. Morphling can't really counter push very easily either, is maybe another reason that Morphling takes a long time to get online, so maybe that's the other reason. Nature's Prophet pushes really hard, prevents you from leaving your base. Other heroes that Morphling is bad against, Anti-Mage, like I said, drains your mana pool and then will ult you, which is really a ton of damage. So Lone Druid, really high survivability. Lone Druid's pretty good against physical, a little weak to magic, but pretty good against physical, and I guess that's what makes him in an advantage there. Luna gets BKB, and Eclipse will wreck a Morphling, so that's probably why that's there. Why is Axe good against Morphling? Not really sure. Blade Mail, I guess. He's got some counters. Linkens can usually just run away, probably over pushes. This is a lot of pushing heroes, actually, if you look at him. Prophet, Lone Druid, Luna, Linkens, Leshrac, Pugno, all these heroes push really hard, which basically tells you Morphling needs to farm. So that's basically everything I should tell you about Morph. Or his agility gain's really good, his strength gain's pretty good, his int gain's kind of bad, but you buy so many int items that give you plus int, it doesn't really matter. His base damage is really poor, and his movement speed is terrible at 285, so keep that in mind. Alright, enough about Morphling in terms of theory and stats and skills and all that crap. Let's show you what I do it, and then we can hop into the game. I played Morphling 9 days ago. My win rate's pretty bad at 39.47%, and I've played about 38 games. So out of all the carries, I've actually played Morphling quite a bit. I was very surprised to see 38 games here, but that's what I'm at. My Bristleback still says I'm terrible. It's like, you're bad at Bristleback. Stop playing him. But here's Morphling, 38 games. My KDA is usually pretty good. I've got a pretty low win rate, 40%, but that's really, like we saw, not that different from the win rate. I guess I'm a little bit worse. He's the hero that I never played in Dota 1, so I didn't start playing him until Dota 2, so that's part of the reason I bet him. Alright, let's hop into the game, now that I've talked your freaking ear off about that one. In games, that's been black screen this whole time. Okay, there we go. Let's do it, Morphling game. And now we can talk about everything, and hopefully you guys aren't too confused about everything that went on. Okay, so I'm playing a carry. I randomed, so I got a little lucky here. If you're playing carry and you're planning to go to the safe lane and you're not expecting to have any rumbling at level 1, I recommend getting Morph at level 1. And it's important to do this because the amount of mana that it takes to morph is pretty significant, because again, you only shift 2 stats every 1 second and that costs 30 mana. So if you go to the lane and you shift your strength to your agility, then at that point you're like, wow, I just spent 60 mana. And it's actually more than that. I probably shifted, if we just go back to the start, let me see how much mana I shifted here. Did I shift yet? That's the question. I already shifted here. Alright, 19. So I start shifting. I start at 19, I go all the way to 11, which is 7 stat points, which is like, what, like 6 seconds or something like? Oh, it was 6. So 3 seconds. So I spent 90 mana just to morph those 6 strength points into agility. And the reason I did this is because Morph's base damage is very, very low, and you need a bit of extra boost to get good last hits basically in the early game. In the past, this was very common as well. Morphling would sometimes even go mid. You go mid, you shift your strength to agility, you get a bunch of bonus damage, and this allows you to last hit better. So very important that you do this in your fountain, but the downside is that I now don't have Waveform at level 1, and a lot of times Waveform can help you get a kill, especially because it's a really good nuke. It does 100 damage, it's at 11-second cooldown. It has, it also allows you to position, so it's a nuke as well as a positioning tool. So Morphling's strength basically comes from being able to attack people very rapidly and also being able to do damage and then continue shifting positioning on them. So I basically got a greedy item start. I got 2 circlets here, and I also bought a Ring of Protection. Now, again, the Ring of Protection is something you should buy every single game when you're playing Morphling, in my opinion, because the Ring of Basilius is really necessary. Your int is very, very low in the early game. Fortunately, they were able to take the bounty from us because I was late here. But Ring of Protection is really important because you need a Ring of Basilius so you can increase your armor and you can increase your mana regen, because waveforming is pretty much the only threat that you have as a hero in the early game. And also, it's very important to have some mana. That way, if you get into some bad trouble, you can also morph your agility to strength to make sure that you stay alive. And against the Timbersaw, that's something that's actually pretty scary because that hero does pure damage. He's very good against low HP heroes, and Morphling is, in a lot of ways, usually a low HP hero over the course of the game due to his own choices to be so. And that was actually very good for us that I ran into those, because I just tanked 3 mines and I didn't die. And you're probably wondering, why the hell did I not die there? The reason I didn't die was because I had 6 armor. That's the best way to counter the mines in the early game, is get a tanky hero like Spiritbreaker or Night Stalker, get a Ring of Protection, and go walk through the mines. And I pretty much guarantee that 3 mines is not going to kill you. I think that was 3 mines. They probably did like, what, 225 a piece or something like that. Maybe a little bit more. But the only reason I didn't die there was because I had high armor, and I had morphed a little bit into agility. What did I morph? 6, so I got an extra armor point. I wonder if having more armor or HP would have been better there, but I basically almost died, and that was pretty scary. I maybe should have brought extra regen to the lane, because despite me tanking those mines, I mean, I would rather trade a salve for one of my allies dying, by all means. But at the same time, now I'm going to have some HP problems throughout the course of the game, because I now don't have a regen. I don't have as much regen as I did before. So, as I'm still level 1 here, I can't really go aggressive. I basically just have to sit around. We continuously saw him planting those mines over there. So hopefully we don't run into those later, even though we do. But continuing to last hit is pretty much the most important thing you can do as a Morphling. I've actually done pretty okay here for last hits, in my opinion. Any free attacks on the Timbersaw, I'm happy to do. Wow, he's got 2 levels of his armor actually, which is pretty Pretty severe. This is a dangerous place for a... Yeah, you can't go in that close as a silencer versus the timber.
I cut you, but I split you, but I killed you.
The only reason that the silencer took so much there is because the silencer was aggroing the creeps as well. If you aggro creeps as well as hitting a hero, then usually the trade is not going to go in your favor. Like, most heroes hit approximately as hard as one another, but as soon as you also have creeps factored into that and you don't have a stout shield, it's almost never going to go in your favor. So you have to be very, very careful when harassing. I actually don't know if the techies is still here or not. The silencer died to the mines, unfortunately. 2 levels away from now, pretty normal. If I was a little worried about dying, I maybe should have gone 2 levels of adaptive strike. Or I'm sorry, of morph. That way I could morph twice as fast. But I'm not really at that. I'm not that worried about dying, basically. If you're wondering what my 2 circlets are for, one of them is going to be for my Ring of Aquila, and the other one will be for my magic wand that I'll be making, which is why I bought 2 to start the game off, because I felt pretty comfortable with that. Extra stats are basically just very good to have as a Morphling, not really anything wrong with that. I have to be a little careful about harass, because again I have no regen left, so now things get kind of shitty and I'm in a bad spot, especially because I'm out of regen already. So one solution towards having a regen as a Morphling, I think the best one is usually a bottle, because the hero roams a lot around the map and you can be pretty mobile with your ultimate. So if you have a bottle, it helps you counteract the fact that you're often missing a lot of mana and a lot of HP. Another solution is also going for a Ring of Health. Ring of Health is a pretty good one because you can build it into a Linkens sphere. In the past I would have said go Ring of Health every game, but now I kind of like the E method for some carries, which is build bottle on carries. Just because there's more runes, there's always a bounty rune or a special rune, so you have more access to having those kind of things. Last hits are decent. I'm actually matching the top last hitters this game, so I'm pretty happy about that. Not that this was a very high level game. This might have even been on ranked, honestly. Don't remember. But as long as I get decent last hits, I'm in an okay spot. Oh, I canceled my animation. That's so terrible. Those are the worst. You're like, I'm going to get this last hit, and then you cancel your animation. You're like, oh my god, I was totally going to have that one. I've actually been last hitting pretty well here. I'm still a bit low. I should have maybe 5 more last hits or something like that, but considering the place that I was in, I don't feel too bad. I'm not sure what I was bringing out on the curry. This was really dangerous to waveform at him, and because I did, I had to start morphing to keep my HP up. And again, last second. I should have right-clicked him there maybe, but his armor is just so high. And there's my bottle. So this is part of the problem. I've now morphed a lot of my agility to strength so that I didn't die. But the next issue is that that's so frustrating to watch, even after the fact. That should have been a kill. I should have waveformed a little bit earlier, most likely. I was trying to get closer, but wasted my mana, morphed all of my agility to strength, which basically put me in a point where I had no mana to actually be useful. And then I missed my waveform, which would have certainly killed the Timber Saw. So that sucks. Sucks super bad. And now I pretty much have to run back to base and get a heal. There's really nothing else that I can do. On the bright side, our Necro somehow got a 6-minute Midas on the mid lane. I guess he bought nothing else. And that should increase his farm by a lot. Techi's got a Ricky kill. Looks like it was over by the pull spot. Now my last hits are going to fall behind a little bit, since I've spent about a minute doing all this. Oh my god, I think I TP'd a lane before I morphed as well. Oh god, don't do it. Oh, thank god. It's like the same thing before, right? Like if you forget to morph before you go back to base, then you're wasting a bunch of mana. And I basically morph in until I feel comfortable with the amount of HP I have. That's pretty much what I gauge things on. Do I feel comfortable having this much HP at this point in the game? So, TP back to lane so that I can get my farm back up. Got a sentry in the lane, which is good. My damage is pretty good now. It's at 80. I really shouldn't be missing last hits anymore at this point. Sometimes I get a little bit lazy in last city when I'm playing carry, especially on a hero like Morphling. Because your damage is pretty high and your DPS is pretty high, I'll just be like, wow, you do so much damage, there's no way I'll miss, right? And then you start missing last hits and it really adds up over the course of the game. Morphling especially, like, remember how all the heroes that beat him? It was all heroes that could push really fast. So if you don't get your farm fast enough on this hero, he just becomes really weak. And he honestly does take a little bit too much farm to come online. That's the main issue with the hero. So I bought a magic stick here, that way I could help keep myself alive, because again, mana is very important. Gives you HP and it gives you much needed mana, that sometimes will be the difference between you dying or not. Since Timber doesn't have a lot of armor right now, I'm going to hit him if possible. Every time he hits me with that, it does a lot too, because it reduces my primary attribute by 15% temporarily. So lowers my agility basically. And he did a couple nukes, but now I use my bottle charges to get healed up again. I would love to solo kill him, but it's going to be so hard because he's level 8. He has a huge level advantage over me, and he's very resistant to physical damage due to the fact that he's got 2 points in armor. So my chances of killing him are quite low.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now again, since you're playing an early game hero, your focus is basically buy as many stats. Or sorry, because you're playing a very late game hero, you want to buy as many cost efficient items as you can in the early game. It's really important to do this, because otherwise your hero just kind of sucks for too long.
Killing spree, double kill.
Having a rough game. I don't remember why I waveformed through those. Probably because I wanted to counter push a little bit. But now I'm at another point where I don't have any mana or HP and my bottle's empty. And normally what I'd say is let the support take the lane and I would go to the rune spot, pick up the 10-minute rune, that way I could regen my bottle. And maybe farm a neutral camp along the way, but I can't really do that either, unfortunately. Because I don't really know where Techies is, and we don't have very good ward vision either, which basically makes the situation not good. It's like I can't get HP because we don't feel comfortable going to the rune. So I'm basically in a point where I'm a carry, and I'm in a shit situation, and I need to be able to react to it. And what is the solution? I think the first solution was to grab my ult at 6, and this would have been a good time to do it. With your ultimate at 6, what you should do is you should make a illusion copy of an enemy or an ally, and then I should teleport back to base. And what I'm basically doing is spending my ultimate cooldown, and I'm spending a TP scroll to get a full heal. And that would have been really good to do in this game, because like I said before, I have no HP regen, I don't feel very comfortable in my lane, I need a little bit of a kickstart for survivability to be able to win my lane. So what I should have done was skipped my 3rd level morph and grabbed an ult. That way I could just make an illusion, teleport back to base with a TP scroll, and then I use Replicant to teleport back again. Refill my bottle, get a free 300 HP, buy any new items that I need, and bam, I'm in a good spot. So, again, buying the cheap items that I can, which is going to be power treads first. A little scary here. I didn't start morphing because I wasn't quite sure if he'd catch me or not. And I did a little bit of a waveform dodge. I'm still morphing. I morphed way too much there. We also have a Techies over here. I wanted to go after him though. It's because the creeps were getting all of the mines, it seemed like. I should have waveformed him right there. But I didn't look for the opportunity. So because I didn't have very good camera control there, I lost it. I lost the opportunity. I was able to get the Timber Saw, but unfortunately he was able to escape. Elder Titan picked it up though, which is good. And now I'm definitely dead under the tower. Oh wow, he hit a Blink Dagger. I don't know why it's not showing vision, but we could actually see it obviously. That was a really big pickup for Jared on the Elder Titan. So gave him level 10. He's got about 2,000 gold there. So despite me dying, it was still okay. But I should have grabbed the Techie skill. We should have had all of those. But if I went for Techies and I wouldn't have had the waveform for the Timber Saw, then Timber Saw maybe wouldn't have died. So I don't know. If we look at the fight, ooh, shit. Let's go back 10 seconds and look at the fight recap. All right, this doesn't show everything, but he got 800 gold for killing Purge, so that's pretty darn amazing. Yo, I don't know why there we go. I don't know why the vision was looking so weird there, but Anyways, since I morph so much in strength, I need to morph it back to agility now. Do it in fountain, that way you don't lose too much mana. And put my HP in a place where I feel fairly comfortable. And I feel pretty comfortable at about 1,000. Again, they have a lot of burst damage. It's mostly in the way of techies, Purge, even Timbersaw. Actually, most of their heroes are really burst damage heavy. Now I'm just right clicking.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
A little worried he was going to try to suicide me there. So I waveformed through. And now I'm in a pretty good spot. That was an okay dive for us. I guess we traded 2 for 2, but if you're behind, any equal trades are good. Because you're going to get slightly more gold than them for kills, because they're going to have more levels than you, they're going to have more net worth. The current way the equation works is there's a slight comeback potential, but it's not huge to my knowledge. And at this point, my last hits are okay, but not amazing. The Troll Warlord is far outlasting me. He's got about 20 more than I do. I'm sure his net worth is a lot higher too. Not by a huge amount, about 300. I mean, I've gotten 2 assists and 1 kill, so it's not the worst thing to ever happen. We see techies planting some more mines over there. And I would like to pick up the rune at 14 minutes if possible. In the meantime, I'm just going to auto-attack neutrals. And this is basically what you should do as a carry if you're worried about death. That's a super dead silencer. Nothing I can do about that one. And I don't really know if I'm able to get the runes since they're all hanging out in that area. So it kind of puts you in another bad spot as a carry where you're like, I can't actually get any farm out of this. So I think this is a roaming CK, pretty sure. So at this point, I can't really come up to last hit because there's 2 heroes that are probably individually each stronger than me. Maybe not the... I really wanted that regen. I waveformed a little bit too far. The regen can do a lot, basically. It's like unlimited bottle runes. And I didn't want to walk around because I was worried about techies mines. So instead I waveformed over to this neutral camp, decided to kill that, and then I'll go defend the tower. At this point, my attack speed is pretty good. My overall physical damage is alright. I maybe should have shifted a bit earlier. But this gives me slightly more gold gain, I think. The EXP gain. Yeah, I really should have shifted over earlier. Because I could have been there when the tower was still at about 30%. Now the tower's just going to die. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if that was a huge mistake or not. And then they ended up all finding me anyway, so I ended up just dying. I think Pudge actually was in the area that whole time. Because he did have a Blink Dagger, right? So if he's got a Blink Dagger, he doesn't have to show himself on the tower. He could have just been there for like whatever the fight was. Just wait till the fight starts and he could jump in and kill. So maybe if I defended, I would have died either way. But I was doing a full morph there and I still ended up dying with 4 skill points. So a lot of damage output there between those 3 guys. Mostly the pure damage, and obviously Pudge doesn't help at all. Little gank on silencer, pretty easy kill there. Luckily I did get that kill, almost missed it. Morphed a little bit for that one, now I can chase. See how many auto attacks I can get on this guy for the waveform. The important part there was that I waveformed once the spirit was on top of him, and I waited a bit to do it because you get bonus damage if the spirit comes. So as you saw, if you saw the number that appeared above my head, it was 324. So despite my nuke only doing 325 damage, I actually got 324 out of it due to the fact that the Elder Titan has 4 points in his natural order, so it reduces their magic resistance by a lot. The little glyph here for the troll, and now we just have to chase him and go for the follow-up waveform. You know, I feel like I could have killed that guy. If I just, instead of auto-attacking a couple times, I could have just continued chasing after him and then gone for a follow-up waveform afterwards. And I think I might have been able to get him. It's basically, like I said before, most of your damage revolves around the fact that you have a 11-second, 325 magic cooldown nuke. You have right-clicks on top of that, but the big part is also the waveform. So bought all my little crappy agility items that are cost efficient. Aquila, very, very important, gives you 15 damage. Wand is quite good right now, 4 to all stats, which gives you int, gives you agility, gives you strength. and then of course a Yasha, which is going to help make up for the fact that I have low movement speed. But if your movement speed was really high, this hero would be overpowered because you already have a mobility skill with waveform. It would basically mean that you could beat anybody with just waveform alone. So the Yasha is really useful, lots of agility, lots of attack speed, and the movement speed is very useful as well. I went from, I believe, 345 to 368, so I got 20 movement speed out of it. I got, I think, 16 damage. Adaptive strike here to push him away to interrupt, but unfortunately the Silencer did not walk away. Silencer needed to walk away from the Purge there instead of casting. That would have been a better move. Looks like Chachi was going to get a kill here. Oh, he did actually get him. Good. Another big kill. Necrolite looks awfully dead here. Pudge is about 500. There's very little way that I could get that kill there, I think. Good hero to make an illusion of this game is probably Chaos Knight, because you naturally get a crit, and he usually builds a lot of strength items anyways. I also could make an illusion of the Elder Titan. I should get his aura, if I'm interested in that. So there's an illusion. I'm going to run that back to my base. The illusion also is very fast. That's cool. I'm going to start right-clicking the Timber Saw here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Trying to control it a bit, just in case I need to use it. A little bit of a mini stun on the Timber Saw here. I knew he was going to ulti him, so I wanted to waveform through. That was a pretty good kill. Definitely worth it in exchange for an under-farmed Silencer, so that was good. Happy to kill Timber Saw. And we got the ult off, so now he's dead for an extra 30 seconds or whatever the heck it is. A stupid amount of time. So even still, with my net worth being what it is, my hero feels useful, but it doesn't feel overpowered yet. Like, my ability to kill supports is not quite there yet. Unless you're playing against supports like that have very easy to dodge stuns, like Vengeful Spirit, for example. If Vengeful Spirit throws a magic missile, and at that point you wait for him, then you dodge the stun. If it's a projectile styled stun, or even an AoE stun. So you basically have to like supremely outplay your opponents for Morphling to be really useful. You need to be able to waveform dodge things. Otherwise, you're never going to get a kill on somebody, pretty much. Or you need to get a lot of kills in your lane, which I kind of did. I still did end up dying twice. But you have to get a lot of kills in your lane and then transition that into some good and fast items.
Has fallen to the
Troll is able to take the Aegis. Definitely not something Morphling can do in the early game. You just don't have quite enough physical damage. Troll is basically all about hitting one target and doing a ton of damage. And I'm kind of countered on that. I kind of wanted somebody to come top so I could use my ultimate on them and then teleport back to base for a free heal, but unfortunately wasn't able to get that here. So back to base I go, gonna get more bottle charges. I could have probably gone top rune. I think I was really inefficient with my Morphling this game. So a couple efficiency things that I should have done better. And some shit's going down, so I'm gonna TP for this. Trying to see who to go on. Didn't want to waste my waveform on him. I should have gone on the Chaos Knight instead, I believe. Luckily, Chachi was able to clean him up anyways, and I just want to clean these up so that he doesn't end up dying. And now I just right click. That's basically this is basically the point where my hero is now stronger than.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Got him with the adaptive, and it did 175 damage, which is pretty good here. I overmorphed big time, and I also should have kept chasing. Alright, that was really good. I think I played that fight pretty well. I overmorphed a little bit once the Timber Saw or the Troll started running, I believe, but as a whole that was alright. And what my adaptive strike did like 175 damage, which is not bad. It's like it's a weak nuke. It's like what? It was probably like a 225 damage nuke. That's a bad nuke for the average hero, but for a hard carry, you know, you take what you can get, and it'll get a lot better as the game goes on. But I'm basically in the perfect spot right now. My opponents overdove to go on my allies, and I was able to stay alive and right click a lot. And again, my right click is really severe. I hit for 120 damage. If we compare this to what Troll's got right now, he's hitting for 150. He's hitting way fucking harder, but He's hitting way harder than I am, but I almost think that I attack faster. It's kind of close. And also I have about 3,000 gold sitting in the shop that I haven't spent, whereas he's probably spent all of his money. Yeah, he has. So that's why his damage is much higher. If I grab a Manta style, then things get a little bit different. At this point in the game, though, I said I'm going to buy a Skadi first rather than going straight Manta style. And the reason I was doing this is because my stats weren't quite amazing just yet. And I wanted to get an item that... this is a nice fight here. I basically wanted a Skadi because it hard counters a lot of the heroes that the Dire team has. It's very good against Timbersaw, it limits his movement. It's very good against Troll because it limits his movement. And it's also very strong. I'm just grabbing the point booster here. Or the ultimate orb, much better than a point booster. They basically give the same stats in terms of HP and mana, but obviously I get damage and HP regen and mana regen out of the actual stats. Using the illusion to try to bait him to go on that while I go farm, because we can't really defend against 3 heroes. I mean, maybe we could. Alright, they did use ultimates as well, which is pretty nice. I basically didn't feel very comfortable fighting that, so I went to split push instead. This is a bit of a mistake, maybe because I don't have a TP scroll, so it guarantees they get the top tier 2 tower. I think I maybe should have stuck around, waited for my teammates to respawn, and then we could have fought him. I think that was a bad play by me, but in the same vein, I got like 7 creeps plus a neutral camp out of it, and without any chance of dying, so that's kind of cool. Ooh, that was scary. Perfect example here. Why Morphling... This is when I realized that Morphling's actually really good against techies. You can get away from techies if you need to. You've got some burst damage that you're invulnerable while you do it. Your right click is really good, so you can cut through his limited HP. And also your armor is consistently very, very high. So anytime you do actually find mines, you're going to be able to survive against them. And even if your armor isn't high enough, you can always just pump your HP way up and just walk over the mines because you have so much HP. It's like a really good situation to be in. Oh, and here's another counter. Morphling can ultimate an ally to make an illusion to run through the jungle to demine. Think about that. Like, Morphling is actually kind of the perfect techies hero in a lot of ways. Very, very good against techies. So maybe pick Morphling if you need a carry that's good against techies in the future, guys. Used to be like Linkens used to be very good because his wolves, because mines used to do composite damage, which was part magic, so you could use summon the wolves, which had very high magic resistance, and then you could just survive against the mines. You could run them through all the mines. It was really good. I don't like the ulti here from our Elder Titan. Kill Troll. That was really good. Now my adaptive strike actually does a lot of damage now. As soon as he blinked, there was no way we were getting that kill. The only downside to buying the Skadi here is that I could just build a Manta style right away. I slightly feel like that was a mistake, perhaps, because if I just make Manta style, the Yasha becomes infinitely better and I have all these item slots. Whereas if I make the Skadi, I mean, it's basically like it delays my Skadi by 2100 gold. That's not that bad, right? I morphed up to a lot of strength here because I knew I was going to be finding the techies. That was pretty funny. He walked back into the smoke cloud. He actually didn't have very many mines set up there. And found another one, but again, they do very little damage. High armor, high HP. So, pretty good for me. Oh, making an illusion from Ricky is really good because it's invisible. And look, I just found it. I just found more mines. Blew him up with the illusion. Morphling, man, he's the solution to techies. He's not very good against remote mines, but at least the land mines he's decent against, I feel. Alright, so Skadi almost finished. Occasionally use waveform to farm if needed. Preferably get all of your last hits instead of only half of them. And just about there in terms of Skadi, and once I have that finished. Purge basically doesn't have a solution versus me. As long as I go on top of Purge as he initiates on my ally, I can very easily back them up. Permanently slowing them, guaranteeing the kill more or less. Trying to be slightly efficient with farming here by waveforming through, but it's not working. So then I ended up just wasting like a stupid amount of time. It actually eventually worked, but I had to like click perfectly to do it. And had to send the courier back to get the Orb of Venom because I always forget about that. And level 16 now. Usually you're going to want to do this just to be ready to go. You don't really skimp on any of your abilities on Morphling for stats. It's not worth it. Unless maybe you're playing Strength Morph. That's maybe the only time I could think of where it'd be worth it. But here we go. Skadi finished, got my bottle. Should definitely morph more into agility, I think. So I'm going to do that because my HP is way too high. I would feel comfortable around 1400. We'll see if I do. Yeah, similar thing. And I'm almost at the point where I can't morph any more to agility. I've got only 11 base strength left, so I've only got 10 left. Because you always have to have at least one, unless it's changed by artificial means. So grab TPs, put the bottle back in base. I think I probably should have done bottle over wand, maybe, but I guess it does give me damage, so maybe it's not the worst. Now I throw snowballs, which is pretty cool. And the important part is that I hit for about 200 damage with every single hit, and I attack really fast because of all these items that I have. And all the agility that I've picked up. And again, I don't have that much attack speed increasing items. It's basically all just stats. And that's why it ends up being so efficient, because you get so many things out of it. I made the Replicant because I knew that he wouldn't be able to blink then. Because then he would take player-based damage. That would be more instant. And look how easy that kill was. 281 damage done to the Timber Saw. Ooh, there's a lot of mines there. And instantly you start morphing. Kept morphing because shit was still really going ham. And this looked like a poor fight for us, so I think I ran away at this point. Oh, that's right, I had the illusion. So now I'm doing the trick. Morphing to agility. Now I have to wait to heal. Take my bottle back so that I can heal faster. We ended up winning that fight, surprisingly. Probably because I took all of the damage at the start and eventually relocated back into the fight. So look at that. Wasn't that useful? Like I stopped the damage on Pudge instantly by making the illusion, because all that had to happen was the illusion had to attack him first, and it did. At that point, he can't blink. And then we slowed him. Very easy kill. And then I took a ton of damage, but I just morphed to strength and avoided most of it. And then I teleported out and swapped out and got the fast heal. You need the bottle to heal a lot faster. Bottle increases your heal speed by a huge amount. So it's important that I got the bottle back there, and I was a little bit late, and I missed my crit a little bit during the fight. But if you practice all these things, unlike what I did here, like your Morphling just becomes really, really strong. And Morphling ends up being a really, really strong carry. Because even at this point, with just the Skadi and the Yasha and the Treads, like I'm already highly unkillable, at least if they use enough stuns. This is really dangerous. I waited way too long to do that. I attacked twice there. I wanted to waveform and teleport out, and you can do that while you're waveforming, but you shouldn't become a material object afterwards. It's really dangerous, because if Pudge would have ultied me there, I'm almost guaranteed that I would have died. So that was really stupid. I stayed way too long. I was being too cheeky there. I felt really ahead at this point, so I did something stupid per usual. So next items that I want to build. It's time to make Manta, because my agility is ridiculously high. Again, I didn't walk to the right point. Could have saved myself a couple seconds there. But definitely want to make Manta now because I just want to increase my survivability, increase my damage basically, and that's what Manta does. I want to make illusions that have 186 base damage, and they'll do 28% of that, so they'll be hitting for about 60 damage apiece. It's a pretty big increase. Plus now I can mess around with heroes like this. I should have waveform dodged that. That was a mistake. I should have had that kill actually. Because I should be anticipating him doing that, right? He's going to throw a stun, and as soon as he does, I waveform past him, I continue attacking. That was actually a kill. Looking at it now, that was easily the most kill that I've seen this game in a lot of ways. I lost all those creeps. God, that was frustrating. Frustrating to watch as well from my perspective. And again, I should be holding a bottle. I shouldn't be holding a wand. There's no reason to have a wand over a bottle. Like, because bottle, you can put a DD in it, you can put a haste in it, you can put an invis in it. And if you're ever on the map, like, look, I just spent a TP just to get a heal because I didn't have any heal. Like, oh god, sell the, I don't know why I'm doing this. Sell the wand. Yeah, thank you.
Monster kill.
One, two, three. He bashed me a lot. I think he only bashed me once there, but it stunned me for 2 seconds. I think that was pretty fair for me to die. I went in there because I was like, oh, they think it's just an illusion, and I'll pop out and then I'm going to kill one of them. And I did kill one of them, but then I gave away my unstoppable, my monster kill streak for 900 gold. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. So that was stupid. My net worth is still way up there, but that also allows them to Roche because I died like that, so that was pretty stupid.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
They are now being chased.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Sending out the courier to buy my next ultimate orb. I thought for sure Silencer was gonna die there. I think. Oh, the Necrolite got caught instead. These are all basically as a result of me feeding my life, honestly. Oh, and this was the time that I forgot to morph first. Look, I've got 3k HP, I've got 23 agi. I actually still hit pretty hard. And this is when I realized I was like, oh my god, I forgot to morph. So look how much mana it's going to cost me. It's not that big of a deal now because I have like 1200 mana. Once you get Skadi, it's not a huge deal. But before that, it's kind of a big deal. I should just sell my wand here. No reason to keep it. Big wave bottom. Why was I morphing? I don't know why I was morphing just now. Found some mines. I don't know why I checked Roche Pit there. That's confusing. Maybe I'm just looking for mines or something. I think I'm just looking for mines. Found a hero. Chaos Knight's gonna be a little scared of that now, which is nice. Kind of seems like they think it's real, so I'm just running it around to waste their time basically. And if you look at the map, they're basically all running after it. So while I'm farming, they're chasing around after an illusion. It's pretty obvious they don't play against Morphling very much because it's pretty clear that that was an illusion. I feel. At some point they gave up on it. I don't know why. Grabbed a DD. DD's really good. Start morphing. At this point, Chachi was like, "You have your illusion," and I was like, "Oh my god, you're right, I do." And I basically wasted so much damage there. I actually could have just killed him maybe, and I almost died. It was very, very close. As soon as I got unstunned, I could have just replicated to the other illusion. I didn't realize it was still alive though. I thought they were gonna kill it when I sent it over here, so I think that's why I thought it was dead. But oh, I could have made a new one. That was another mistake. I could have made an illusion from the silencer. Either way, got my Manta finished. Fuel my morphine over. That gives me an extra 10 strength. So I ended up living there at least. That was cool. But I could have. It sucks I had to use the DD basically. I didn't have to use the DD, but I thought it was just Pudge for some reason. But I should have realized that they were all in that side portion of the map because I saw like 3 of them chasing after that illusion. But DDs are like the best item that you can have from Morphling because it's an actual double damage. It's not just double your base damage because if you have a hero like PA and you buy like Daedalus or something, and then you pick up a double damage, you don't get double that plus 81 damage that Daedalus gives you. But if you only buy agility items, you do get double the damage. That's why Bottle's so important on Morphling, because if you get a double damage, it essentially increases your net worth by like at least 60% or something like that, I would argue. I don't know what the exact number is. It isn't a straight double, because obviously you have net worth and some other things like attack speed, HP, blah, blah, blah. But it gives you a ridiculous damage output. It's like having a Divine Rapier, because it would give me 210 damage right now. Isn't that amazing? 210 damage for a double damage rune that I could save for up to 2 minutes. So when you're playing Morphling, you should play around runes, and you should keep your bottle late game. Wait until you get a double damage rune, wait until you get a haste, and that's when you take team fights, because then you know that I'm hitting way harder than I should be. I used the Manta, so I wasn't really sure which one was the real one, and then I just killed him. And that's what you do when you're Morphling. Unfortunately, the Adaptive Strike didn't hit him quite on time. Oh, also I overmorphed. Look at this. I knew that I had a morph out somewhere, and there it was. I was able to use it finally. It's part of the problem with having... I'm basically bottling through the HP that I just gained. And I'm kind of to a point where I can't even really heal up with the bottle all the way. I'd either have to have really low stats And now I'm worried about mines, which is why I'm strength morphing, because I was worried about running into a bunch of mines on the way home. So I strength morphed a bunch just to guarantee that I didn't die on the way home. My team's still fighting here. Again, I killed the Pudge at the start, so I guess I kind of helped, but I mean, I could have done a bit better there. If I didn't morph so heavily into strength, I could have stuck around and fight, but as soon as my strength was low, or as soon as my agility was really low, then things felt kind of tough. I basically started morphing as soon as I fought the Pudge, I believe, which is a huge mistake. I think this is what I should have been doing the whole time, honestly, was dropping the Aquila and picking up the wand. Aquila gives you, what, it's basically a Wraith Band and a Ring of Basilius, right? The Wraith Band part's really good, but the Basilius part, late game, is not very good. So at this point, I feel like the wand is better, because the amount of HP that you get out of it is a pretty big change. I wanted the Pudge to come up in last hit, because I thought I could kill him again very easily. As long as I break his Blink Dagger, he dies. So I'm going to run towards him. And I didn't want to show myself on the creep wave. I'll take any free kill I can get, basically.
Dire's structures are fortified.
This looks quite bad for Elder Titan here. Oh wow, that cancelled his heals. I misplaced myself a little bit here. Alright, was able to kill the troll. I should have maybe saved the Manta until morphing, because I'm about to die. Now I just fight. Overmorphed a little bit at the end there, but... Oh, that's right, we got wrecked. The mines, dude. But that was still a really good fight for us. If we look at the fight recap, I still gained 700 gold. Chachi still gained. Techi's got a lot there. Because that was an unstoppable and a killing spree. He actually just got 2,000 gold from those mines. That's amazing. But we'll just speed this up a bit. And now I basically was trying to think, what do I need? Now, normally, if you're playing against like a carry that's actually being competitive with you, what you should buy is a Butterfly at this point. Hands down, Butterfly or Ethereal Blade, one of those two items. You might criticize why haven't I bought either of those items, and I would say it's because their heroes are very, very tanky. And tanky heroes, Eblade isn't really the best because it's not going to just one-shot them. They have like 2k, 3k HP. Eblade does maximum 1500 damage maybe, which is a shitload, but it's not enough to one-shot them, right? So I don't really necessarily want to buy Eblade. Instead, it's probably better if I just buy battle items, because that seems to be what's working for me so far. If I go on a Pudge and I Manta style, he just dies. He can't do anything. He has to like ult me or TP out or something. That's his only solution. So if I just buy teamfight items, then I'll be in a better place. Now, do I need a Butterfly? Butterfly would be really good against Troll. It'd be really good against Chaos Knight, because neither of those guys would be able to hit me accurately. And it also gives you a lot of damage output, 30 agility, 30 attack speed, 30 damage. It's really good damage item. And I can use Flutter to chase after people if needed. So that's pretty cool. But instead I said, you know what I think I need? I think I need Lifesteal, because I've been spending a lot of time going back to heal after battles. So instead I'm going to go for a Satanic. And the Satanic is in some ways not a good Morphling item because it gives you primarily strength. But the reality is that at this point, I just felt like I needed sustain, because any carry the carry I'm playing against is the Troll. He's got a Sanjin Yasha, he's got a BKB, and he's got a Helm of the Dominator. That means that his damage is his net worth is nowhere near mine is right now. And if I look at the board, it's actually close, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel like Troll should have more items than he currently does. Does he have something on the crit or something? Because I can't believe his net worth is that close to mine. I guess I only have his 4 staff. I mean, I guess he's got 3k in the bank, that's why. Basically, I feel like his net worth isn't very close to me. If he gets like a Daedalus or something, yeah, a Butterfly would have been way better. And in fact, if he does build that, I'm in a bad spot. But if I go Satanic, it pretty much guarantees that I don't have to worry about Timbersaw, Troll Warlord, Pudge, Techies, any of that stuff. Because I can keep my HP up at all times. And I think that's kind of what I needed this game. Looking at it now, maybe this is a mistake. Maybe it should just be a Helm of the Dominator into a Butterfly. I think that would have been the better move, because if Troll did finish a Daedalus, I would really have to worry about dying, because he could definitely burst me down and a little bit of damage. But I kept my illusion in the team fight. I'm getting ready to relocate if needed, and there's my illusion spotting things out. I don't know why I'm taking the time to walk all the way back to base. I think I should have shown up earlier. Morph, because I'm afraid of dying. Stop morphing, stop morphing, stop morphing. Now attack. Okay, there we go. Maybe even Daedalus isn't what the troll needed. Maybe he needed something like... Did he buy an AC? So we bought an AC. Maybe he needed something like a butterfly at this point. Maybe that would have been better. Butterfly might have been okay. I think I should have shown up a little bit earlier there, but as a whole, it was okay. Backed up for a moment to grab some neutral creeps, and I should just be going high ground. I don't know, I'm not. This is a mistake for me. This is just greedy play that's really not good at all. Yeah, what do I accomplish by jungling here? I basically said, oh, you guys can handle the racks or something. Like, the racks could be dead by now. I have most of the damage here. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is really stupid. I actually have no idea why I'm doing this. I'm quite confused.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Timbersaw is in. Oh, we were afraid of mines. That's why. That's why. We didn't have any sentries, and I didn't want to get blown up by Techie's mines. So I just went back. That's why. I remember now. That's why I just looked at the sentries being picked up by Silencer. It like all made sense at that point. I was like, oh. Techie's mines. I should have made an illusion of the Silencer to push on mid. And at this point I saw that they were high ground and they were taking racks, so I was like, oh, I guess we should continue raxing then. So I have my Satanic flying out. At least the Reaver is coming, and I'll buy the recipe. I should have bought the other way. Buy the recipe, fly out the. That was really close. Almost died there.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Again, we gotta wait for him to dodge this. I should have used my haste this whole time. I don't know why I didn't. Oh wow, he actually got the. He actually got the cooldown increase. Now my damage is really bad. But look how much damage you take. Like this is why Morphling's annoying. He's the carry that just doesn't die. It's so stupid. This would be a great time to relocate. Yeah. Heal back in base. Fully strength morph. And there's my Satanic. Just gotta get the full heal. I should counter push, I think. I should counter push the top lane and then send my illusion in. And then relocate in. Replicate. Replicate. Fortunately, I didn't quite get the techies here. And again, morphine. Again, don't know where my team is. Started right-clicking with the Satanic, but unfortunately my right-click is kind of mediocre now. Because I overmorph. I actually just tank damage so much, though. Like, how much damage did I just take from the CK? What did he have? Just has a BKB and a drum and a treads. He actually hit relatively hard considering, but... I mean, I just didn't die, right? And that just continuously happens. That's Morphling.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Maybe Morphling is the carry for me, guys. I don't know. Do stupid things, stay alive. That's pretty cool. This is the fastest way to get a heal, by the way. Lower your strength all the way down, and then pop a salve or a bottle or something. Or you can use your Satanic. That works. Doesn't cost any mana to do that either, so it's pretty easy to abuse. Just the 35-second cooldown for 200% lifesteal. I'm into that. Check Roche Pit and grab the rune. Again, something like a butterfly is what I would pick up next for sure, or an Eblade, one of the items. If they had squishy supports, I would go Eblade. Eblade's pretty good against techies, but he actually has a Euls, I believe, so he can actually disjoint both of those if needed. So Eblade's just a little bit worse than he used to be, and that was pretty much the main thing making Morphling feel OP, so that's why we don't see Morphling get played anymore, in my opinion. Didn't really want to hold anything, but I felt like the cheese was really worthwhile to hold, so ended up picking up the cheese. This way I don't necessarily have to morph, I can just rely on the cheese instead. I didn't really think I was going to get there in time, so... There's actually so many mines just hanging out. We really needed to get a gem this game, I think. We have a Radiance on our Necrolite, which is a bit weird. And Time to go high ground.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is Dire's middle
I was
tower
able to
is
suicide.
under attack.
It's actually so many mines. Techies was quite busy. But now I truly felt like all the mines were gone. I was like, alright, the mines are finally gone. We're gonna be okay. We got this.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
Timbersaw's obviously been AFK for a while. And that was a lot of the reason that we had more advantage, but the main reason was because I think their troll didn't farm quite efficiently enough. If we look at his last hits. His last hits are about the same as mine, and I feel like he should have had more farming. He should have had more farming going the whole time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's ancient is under attack. Radiant victory.
So that's Morphling. That's how you work as a carry. I personally like Morphling a lot as a carry. I think he's fun. That's why I keep playing him, apparently. I haven't played him in a while, but I think he's one of the most fun carries. Because you have to like estimate exactly how much damage your opponents do and be able to get out of the bad situations. So if you do that really well, Morphling seems ridiculously unkillable, and that's basically what we saw at TI 3? TI 2? I think TI 2 was Morphling era. Might be wrong though. But there was the TI where Morphling was the top pick, and it was just kind of obnoxious. He got nerfed super hard right after, and he was like almost never played again. Until Eblade got popular, I think, again. Or maybe Eblade was good then. I don't remember. But Morphling is basically completely out of the meta right now. He's not played in pubs at all. And that's Morphling. Thanks for watching, guys. I will bring you back another video tomorrow, and I will see you later. Goodbye.